Good day, everyone. My name is Michelle D. Clark, and I'm just a small town girl with big time dreams who God has definitely shown His grace and His mercy, and He has saved me from some life threatening things. Well, welcome everyone to Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, that is the name of the whole show. Why? So you know when and where to be. Where? I don't know if you're watching this either on YouTube, on Facebook, or LinkedIn, but welcome to the show. If this is your first time, definitely welcome. And if you are a repeat supporter, then welcome back. So, everyone, it is a terrific Tuesday on purpose. Why? Because I said so, and you can too. So, all right, before we get started, let's go through a few house rules. So, okay, first of all, you guys, let me just take a quick step back. Now, I don't know if anything has happened on your end. But I was having some technical difficulties when I've logged on. And so I want to make sure. So let me know in the chat there. So, first of all, give me a shout out. I want to give you all a shout out. So put your name in the chat, of course, so I can give you a proper shout out. In addition to that, let me know if you see any glitches or anything on your end of the screen. So that way I can maybe make some adjustments. But anywho's, so yes, welcome to the show. All right. So quick house rules, you all. So what we do is we will have a segment where we will talk about the topic for the day. And then, in addition to that, we will have a segment of AMA, which is Ask Miss Clark Anything. So, that is our rapid fire. So, if you have any questions, get them ready. And they may come up during the course of our conversation today. So, alrighty. And in addition to that, you all, in addition to that, if there comes a moment where I stop and take a sip of water, which I'll do just for illustrative purposes, then during that segment, then just pretend like you're listening to some elevator music. And if you don't know what elevator music is, because I know the last few times I've been in an elevator, I haven't heard any elevator music. What is that all about? So, but it's like da 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 da. Da. Right, so I can finish drinking, then do the little da. So okay, so let's give it a little test run, and I'll wet my whistle here. All right, you all. And that also is a good break for station identification so that you all can also stay hydrated. It's so important. I know it's important during the summertime, but it's equally important during the wintertime because a lot of folks have that forced air heat. And with that, it gets really, really dry. So make sure to stay hydrated. All right, you all. So if you are wondering, okay, I want to take another drink. What is this? What's going on here? It's like something the forces are the forces are against me. So we're gonna do a quick little. All right, forces, be with me. All right, here we go. One quick sip. All right, one and done, you guys. So it's probably because I've been doing a lot of talking today. So for those of you who may not know, um, I am a also a licensed mental health therapist. So that's what the LMSW stands for, licensed masters in social work. So I work in the community at a community agency nearby, and I work with people. Um, I work with kids. So I work with kids from the age of 6 all the way up to 18, but sometimes 19 or 20, maybe even 21, depending on their circumstances, especially if they're in the foster care system, right? So, or in some sort of DHHS, Department of Human Health and Services, right? So, but in addition to that, I also am a life coach, which you guys know me as the mindset management coach for professional women. So that part. In addition to that, I've had some other meetings along the way. So I've been doing a lot of talking, you all. A lot of talking today. But that's a good thing, right? Because that's what I do. It's all about helping people, right? Each one reach one, teach one. So that's what I do. All right, you all. So if you want to go ahead and put your name in the chat so that I can see who you are, where you're from, put who you're representing, what city, state, or what country, then I would love to see that as well. If not, that's cool too. But what I realize is that the more that you participate, the more you get out of it, right? The more rich the experience will be. All right, you all. So now for our topic today, we're going to talk about time freedom. Hey, what's going on? Lakeisha's in the house. How you doing, Lakeisha? Welcome back to the show. All right, you all. So thanks for showing some love there, right? All right. So our topic for today is time freedom. Time freedom. I see some more eyeballs have just popped up on the screen. So make sure that you put in the chat who you are and where you're checking in from. So that way I can give you a proper shout out. So, all right, you all, time freedom now, and I want some I want a dialogue, you all. I don't want to just be a monologue, me talking at you or talking at the screen, right? So let's make sure we get some engagement here, so that way I can know what your questions are. I know what your comments are, what your thoughts are, and I love putting people's comments on the screen here. That's something else that we do here. So if you have a good comment, bada boom, bada bing, it will also get put up on the screen, so you guys can get credit for that. All right. So time freedom. Now, time freedom, of course, I love coming in with, definitions and things like that. And one of the definitions it talked about was being able to do basically what you want, when you want, with whom you want, all that kind of stuff, right? And being able to have the time to allocate to do whatever it is that you choose to do. And I get that. I agree with that. I'm not going to say I don't agree with that. However, I'm thinking to myself, okay, everybody has the same, I shouldn't say however, in addition to, everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. So how is it that on the one hand, one person says, I don't have any time. I don't have any time. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm all over the place. I don't have any time. But then you have somebody else who says, hey, you got all the time in the world. So, yes, I know that there are some of us who can be very, very busy. I mean, like we have our schedule packed to the max. Tuesdays happens to be kind of one of those for me. On other days, I may not have as much schedule, but it doesn't. Have you all ever found that sometimes it feels like even if you don't have visually looking at your calendar, okay, first of all, let's assume, so, some people don't function on calendars. So, that's what I'm saying, assume that you even have a calendar, right? But you look at your calendar and you see the one day, and you're like, okay, I have all these openings here, here, and here. Have you ever found that other things that you didn't plan for has its way of sneaking onto your schedule? You get a phone call, you get a ring on the door, you get an email, you get all these sorts of things. You get a visitor come by, you have to run and do some errands that you may not have planned for. All these little things that try to eat up the little times of what seems to be free time. Okay, you all, let's have a quick heart to heart, you all. First of all, there's no such thing as called free time. There's always a price to pay, right? There's always a price to pay. So when I say free time, it just means that you don't have anything planned for that time. So it's always something to do. That's when I say it's a price to pay. It's always something to do. And as we all know, freedom is not free. There are things that we have to do in order to get to that side of the coin. But now I had a conversation because a lot of times when people think of time freedom, they say, well, the only how that I can have time freedom is if I have financial freedom. Now, how many people agree with that? I want to see that. Put it in the chat. Do you agree that in order to have time freedom, that you have to have financial freedom? And of course, if this is someone watching this on replay, hashtag replay is for real. So I still would love to see your comments. I do go back in the archives, if you will, in the history and look through some of the comments that may come in later. So please do feel free to put in some comments on hashtag replay. So if you do believe that to be so, if you believe that you have to have financial freedom to have time freedom, you may not be correct. So I was watching on YouTube. I was watching this guy, and I believe it was Thailand. I was watching a gentleman over in Thailand, and in the video, he lived in a cave. Like he literally like made a cave, but it wasn't just like him on like Stone Age times where he's just laying on a stone bed. No, no, no. He like had it like really kind of laid out. It was still, yes, it was still simple, but it was doable. Um, he had like a hammock kind of thing, and then like a, what do you call that? It's gonna come to me. That's over, like if you have like a bed and it has like somebody help me out here. So you know that what I'm talking about. Put that in the chat and help me out here. But at any rate, so and then he had candles and he had different kinds of decorum that was from nature that was all spread throughout. It was really awe-striking. And thank you, Shamika. Good grief. She knows exactly. Yes, the canopy, right? So the canopy. So the thing, and of course, shout out to Shamika. welcome to the show. Welcome back, I should say, to the show. And actually, we have Shamika on as a guest, so you guys make sure to archive that as well, so that way you can see Miss Shamika and the phenomenal event that she put on. And she'll be speaking. She spoke about that on the show. So make sure you check out that archive as well. When we get done, I will put the actual episode number on there. All right, you all. So here's the deal. He had it all decked out. He had the canopy, all that kind of stuff, right? And this gentleman, he didn't, when you look at him, you would be like, okay. But he had true time freedom. You could tell he wasn't what we would consider, I guess, affluent financially, but he had time freedom. He had every single thing that he wanted. And I also heard that there were women that, and not that this is a prerequisite, but he had women who would fly in to meet with him, to stay with him. He had like this raft, and he would take them on the raft, all those sorts of things. So it was like this. How would we call this? It was like I don't want to say like a meager luxury, but it was like a kind of luxury that I would think expands our mindset of what luxury really is. And when we talk about luxury of time freedom, this gentleman had no cares in the world. If he was hungry, he went out, he either picked some berries or maybe he went hunting or whatever the case may be, and it was done. If he got cold, he would light a fire. Or if he needed light, he would, have like the lamps and things inside of there. So he had everything. If he wanted water, he would just go to one of the waterfalls. He had every single thing that he wanted and needed at his disposal in nature. So I guess when we talk about financial freedom, okay, I want to get a little philosophical here, but what is finances? What is finances? Or money? People say money, fiat, whatever, legal tender, currency. What is that really? So then we think about what is financial freedom, what is finance, what are finance, what's money, what fiat, what legal tender, what is all those things? What is time freedom? I would love to know from you all. Put it in the chat. What is your concept? What is your construct? What is your definition? What is your connotation? I want to see another C word in there. What's your connotation? What are your thoughts about time freedom? What would that mean? What does that mean to you? Let me know. I would love to know, what does that mean to you? And as that's coming in, thinking back to that story, thinking about that general, he had all the time in the world that he ever wanted. The only thing that stood between him and freedom, there really wasn't anything. I was going to say time is just the fact that we all have a limited amount of it, meaning everybody has an expiration date. We don't know when that is. Nobody knows when our expiration date is, but it's going to happen. Somebody said the riskiest game, the riskiest game around is life, because you're not going to get out of it alive, right? So, but with that, being able to do what I love that. Hey, Kenosha, welcome back to the show, young lady. So Kenosha says, let me put that up there. So she says, being able to do what she wants when she wants. So is there anything, you all, that is getting in the way of us being able to do that now? So what is in the way of us being able to do what we want when we want? And I would even I'll add an extension on there. So what do you say? I see you and I raise you, Kenosha. So do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, how you want. I guess why you want? I don't know. There really isn't anything that I can think of that really stops us from being able to do that now, other than the limitations of our thoughts. So, so Kenosha says, money, too much to do. So money can be a barrier. I'll agree with that. And to say otherwise would be naive. Depending on what society that you live in, depending on what community, depending on what we even define as money. What even is money? So I like to call it currency because currency means it flows, right? Currency. And currency doesn't have to be that legal tender, that greenback, right? That we all think about, or the credit card with the digital money, if you will. But currency, something that makes things go around, something that flows. So it doesn't have to be. So it's not, to me, it's not really the money or the currency. It's how, it's not the resource. It's how resourceful are we to be able to do the things that we want to do, when we want, and how, and with whom. So being able to have, so let's go back to time freedom. So the other part of when I think of time freedom is being able to, because, okay, some people might say, well, I can't do that all the time. In the real world, whatever that means. What is the real world? Well, when in the real world, I'm not able to do what I want, when I want, however I want, blah, 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 blah. But what about if if we're going to put limits on it, if we're going to put limits on it, can we segment? Can we segment our time? So that way we can have blocks, periods of time where we are able to do what we want when we want. And again, being able to do what you want, when you want, how you want, whatever, that's one definition. That's one definition of time freedom. Somebody might say time freedom is more like time fluidity. Time fluidity. So, meaning that at any given point in time, I have the right to do what I want, when I want, how I want, with whom I want at any given point in time. So let's expound upon that one. So let's say, okay, if you work a 9 to 5, or if you work a whatever, if you overnight, or whatever the work schedule may be, or if you're part-time, full-time, contingent, whatever the case may be, you may have some time allocated to an entity that is not your own. Or if you own a business, right, then you're still responsible over whatever the characteristics of your business is. You may have enough employees, enough team members, or enough contractors to where you don't have to be in the place at all times, or be working in the business. You can maybe be working on the business and just be a thought leader, if you will, to help charter the waters that have not been chartered, right? To be that compass. You don't have to be the map, but be the compass, the guiding compass, right? So get a little bit past the topic, but I'm still on the topic, because the thing is that, again, what we conceive as time, what we conceive as freedom, and we put those two together, is going to make all the difference in the world on how we conceptualize it and how we manifest it. How we manifest. So let's go back to the ideal of fluidity, time fluidity. So being able to be free in any given point in time, throughout our day, throughout our week, throughout the hour, throughout time. So let's close our eyes and let's imagine this world that we have, this time fluidity, to be able to do at any given point in time what we want, how we want, whatever that concept is for you. What would you be doing? What would you be doing? So come on, y'all, dream build me a little bit here. If you had time freedom, however you want to um, describe that, what would you be doing? What would you do in that time? What would you do? Now, some people might say, oh, I might travel. Oh, I want to go see, or I want to be able to go to each and every one of the continents, or I want to be able to learn multiple languages, or I want to be able to do a desire that I never had the chance to do, like pick up a hobby and actually do more than hobby with it. What would that thing be? A lot of people like learning things because, again, learning keeps you young. When we stop learning, we stop living. When we stop learning, we stop living. So a lot of times people, when we say, if I had more time, I would like to learn X, Y, Z. So what are some of those things that you like to do? I'm asking this because what happens is when we think about a concept as vast and vague, if you will, as time freedom, and I say vague only because it has a variety of different meanings to a variety of different people under any variety of different circumstances in any variety period of time, right? So what happens is when we decide what it is that we want to do, what we will be doing in that time frame, it helps to give shape, it helps to give form to it, and it also helps us to define and allocate what kind of time do we actually need? How much money or currency, if we even need money or currency, what do we need to make that manifest? Who do we need to make that manifest? So I'm asking you a series of questions that you may want to jot down. So, okay, so Kenosha says, oh, I'm sorry, Shamika says, spending more time studying and getting time with God and traveling. Yes, yes. So spending more time studying, I told you that, learning, right? Studying and spending time with God and traveling. So yes, having relationships to a higher power, to be able to tap into a source who, if I think I read the same book you read that it talked about somewhere in there. I don't remember if it was John 10:10. Somebody help me out here. I'm not a scripture guru, if you will, but I know it's somewhere in there where it talks about living life abundantly. Living life abundantly. I remember reading that in there. Somebody help me out with that. But what is abundance? Everybody's concept of abundance is different. Okay, so Kenosha says, spend quality time with the kids. Yes, spending quality time with the kids. So if anybody else has anything out there, if Lakeisha, if you're still out there, or I see some more eyeballs that have chimed in. So first of all, let's take a quick break for station identification, you guys. So yes, this is Tuesday Talks with Ms. Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the name of the whole show, so you know when and where to be. And where is going to be here on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. So whichever platform you're watching, make sure if you're on YouTube that you subscribe and click the little bell, so that way you know when and where we drop new content, right? And if you're watching us on Facebook, like this post, share this post, let somebody else know about it. Also on LinkedIn, like this, or the little support little thing, or the heart, whatever. And make sure that you share this with someone, so that way this is not the best kept secret, because we talk about things just like this every single Tuesday. Every single Tuesday. My goal as a mindset management coach is to help us to expand our mindset. So that way, the things that we say that we want, the things that we deserve and desire, that we can manifest those things. So, of the things that I've seen thus far, spending time, quality time with the kids, being able to travel, being able to study, being able to um, increase our relationship, or create or improve our relationship with our creator. That's why I keep saying creator. All of these things don't per se require fiat, money, legal tender. It doesn't require us to be quote unquote financially free. If we're looking at it through time fluidity, time freedom, freedom in the concept of being able to have the right to choose. That's what freedom is: opportunity, options, freedom, lumping it all together. So, can we spend time with the kid? Let me tell you something. And I know, this isn't like a dig at anybody who answered. I love the answers. I just want to expand upon the concepts, so that way we can see that these are things that we could already be doing. And if we're already doing it, we can actually squeeze out more time to do it. And you might say, hey, squeeze that, Michelle. It's only 24 hours in a day. Yes, but if we think about it, there's a lot of time that we piddle away doing the things that don't matter. I was watching, and at some point, I'm going to, if somebody knows who that was, he's one of the gurus that, but he had a show, and he had a lady on there. I've heard people tell this story, recount the story, but I actually saw the actual beginning of who started the story. But basically, let's just say there's two jars, and in the one jar, there's sand or whatever, and there's a bunch of things in there, and he's like, okay, well, there's sand in there, so now you have to put all the rocks and the stones and this and the other to put everything all in there. So if you start with the little things first, you're not going to be able to fit the big things in there. But if you start with all the big things first, the things that matter first, and then put in the stones, then put in the pebbles, and then put in the sand, which represents the things that in the grand scheme of things don't really matter much, then you'll be able to fit everything in there. But if we do the little things that don't matter first, you won't be able to get all the big things in there that do matter. So if we're running around, taking care of this, tying up that, doing the da 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 da, running around doing a lot of the things that we think we need to do, and forsake the things that really matter, like our children, that matter, like learning, we won't have time for it. Have you ever met someone who said that they don't have time, but they also don't have money? Fiat currency, legal tender? How? What are you doing? Have you ever met someone who said that they have time but no money, or money but no time? We make time for the things that we want, whether we believe that or not. Just like we have money for the things that we want, whether we're willing to admit it or not. What is manifesting in our life is manifesting because of the concepts that we have, the constructs that we have, our thought process, the things that we've made up in our mind of what freedom is, the things that we made up in our mind of what time is, the things that we made up in our mind about what we have to, need to, must do. If we look at our schedules, whether it's in our minds or we actually have a calendar, whether it's in our phone or Google or whatever, we'll see that there's time in there. It's almost like like Tetris, where we're able to move some things around and open up our schedule and be able to do the things that we really want to do, when we want to do them, how we want to do them, and with whom we want to do them with. I know somebody's like, yeah, okay, Michelle. Yeah, okay. I'd like to see that. I'll buy that for $1. Well, listen, you don't have to buy it for $1. How about this? We'll have this exact conversation. This Saturday. We have our freedom at 1. So Lift Nation's freedom at 1. We'll be talking about time freedom. So, okay, so let me put this in. So bit.ly/Lift Nation freedom at 1. Okay, I think I have that in there correctly. Let me see it on the big screen here. So bit.ly/Lift Nation freedom at 1. And it is upper lowercase, just like that. So if you don't type it in just like that, next time, trust me, I'm going to put it where it's all lowercase to make it easy on everybody. But join us this Saturday. It's FREE. It's free. The only thing it's going to cost you is your time and energy to be able to learn about time freedom. So we're going to be talking about that this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's freedom at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be on Zoom. So no, you don't have to show up for anything in person. And if you want to just relax, that's fine. I will love it if you would have your cameras on, so that way we can actually have a conversation. Because I'm doing this now and I can't see you. I see your comments, but I can't see you. But I would love to see you. So break bread and really commune and talk about it. Let's talk about this. So we'll have a mini presentation, and then we're going to have some Q&A, open dialogue, conversations. We'll be able to break bread and really talk things through. So that's going to be this Saturday at 1 p.m. So I love to see each and every one of your lovely faces. And okay, so if there's some guys watching, we love you guys, but this is for ladies. I'm a mindset management coach for professional women. So this is for ladies only on Saturday. So on Saturday, and please spread the love. Again, share this, like this, share this with someone who you know, who either says, you know what, I've mastered time freedom, I'd love to share. Or, man, I'm always finding myself on the short end of the stick when it comes to time. I need more time. We'll show you how to create that time. So come out. We're going to talk about it this Saturday, freedom at 1. So Lift Nation, freedom at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So get registered at the bit.ly, and then I will see you. So now, if there's any questions, we have about 2.5 seconds. So if you have any questions, rapid fire AMA, please shoot me a question right now. I'd love to answer your question. And if not, please come out this Saturday, Freedom at 1, and then you can ask your question there and we can expound upon it and we can have a whole dialogue and a community a conversation with everybody who is a part of the Zoom, in the Zoom room. So, all righty, you guys. I was going to wait for 2.5 seconds. So, all right, everybody. So, every single Tuesday we'll be here. Every Tuesday we'll be here for our Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right? We're here on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So, if you all would like to have a private conversation with me one on one, you can also go to, now let me get this out here as well. You can go to bit.ly/mindset with Michelle. And that's one L in Michelle because you don't need two L's when one does the same. Make sure I spell everything correctly. Yep, bit.ly/mindset Michelle. Upper lowercase is required. So yes, MICHELE, one L in Michelle. You don't need two when one does the same. All right, so you can reach me there, and you have a free. This is a gift, you guys. A free 20-minute conversation and exploration where we can talk about what are some. How do you want to move forward? How do you want to move forward, and what I can do to service you? How can I provide you service to help you move forward in your life? So, all right, you all. That concludes the show. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure that you do share this with someone else and make sure that you tune in next week. Sign in, register for our Lift Nation Freedom at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Saturday. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you all. And of course, you can always, always, always forward your questions if you have any questions to Clark MD at Lift Life Coaching Solutions with an S.com. Again, that's Clark MD at liftlifecoachingsolutions.com. You can forward your questions there for AMA segment. All right, you all. I love you all to life. My name is Michelle D. Clark. I am the mindset management coach for professional women with Lift Nation, where we empower professional women to live inspired, free, and transform. Take care. God bless.